Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to what to look for when buying your first airbrush. I've done a little list. We've got price, brand, parts, needle size in tip size and mil size, and we've got top feed and side feed airbrush. Now, when you're looking at buying your first airbrush, everybody tends to go Amazon, eBay, and you get bombarded. You type in airbrush and you'll see all these brands. They'll all pop up: Ardor and Steenbeck, Iwata, Mr. Hobby. You get your Chinese brands, and your price ranges can go from around £400 right down to £20. And most people opt for, oh, that's £20 because it's a nice fancy digital picture, and they show you all the little pictures of what it can do and all the little info and this, that, and now, I've never ever brought a £20 airbrush off of eBay, and I wouldn't. When I first got taught, I got steered into Aerograph Super 63 by SILVERLINE, and that was my first airbrush that I picked up. Then I went into Ardor and Steenbeck, and I went through the Ardor and Steenbeck range. Then I moved on to Iwata. I went through their range. Then I moved into Mr. Hobby Creos, and I've gone now onto their range. And they're the brushes that I own, and I've owned for the last plus 12 years. It's got to be probably longer than that, getting on probably nearly 20 years in airbrushing. And these brushes have stayed with me along the way, and they have all lasted. So price wise, if you are looking at going into this long term and you really enjoying the content probably on my channel, other people's YouTube channels, and you're really getting into the paint scene and custom paint, and you're looking at buying your first airbrush, don't buy cheap. If you buy cheap, you'll be buying it again and again and again. So put a bit of money aside. You can get a decent brush, I would say, for just over the £100 mark. You can get some that are a little cheaper that are decent, but my preference would be around the 120 mark. You're going to get yourself a cracking brush, and I can point you in the right direction at that price, and I can point you in the £400 mark at a cracking brush as well. So when it comes to price, ballpark it around, put £100 aside, just over, and you'll get yourself a cracking brush that's going to last you along your career. You will move on from that brush, but it will be a good starting out brush, and then you can work your way up some ranges like I have. You can move along, check out different brushes, get a feel for different things. So aim for around 120 on the price. Now moving down to brand, as I said, I've gone through these brands in my career, and these brushes are still with me now. So brands that I would recommend are H&S. I started out with Ardor and Steenbeck, and they are a good brush. They really are. They're built well, and out of all these brushes, the H&S are the easiest, I would say, to strip down and put back together. They really are. They're built well. They last. You can get your detail brushes with these, and you can get your sort of beginner needle setups, which are a bit bigger. So H&S on a brand are really good. I've got one Rich pen which is quite new to me, and after using this, cracking brush, really is. So the Rich pen brand, another great brand, do some really nice brushes. Not many in the range. There's probably about 4 brushes. They'll do a side feed, a top cup. They do the one I've got here, which has got the scallop out the top, so it's a very shallow cup on that. But another good brand. Moving down, we've got the Creos, and you know my thoughts on the Creos range. They are brilliant, they really are. I own 3 brushes on the Creos range, and they are outstanding brushes. So that's another good brand. And then another, I love my Iwatas, I always have. Iwata, brilliant brand. I've got spray guns by Iwata, and they are superb brushes. They really are. So there's the brands that I've personally got used. There's other brands like Badger. There's loads of brands out there. I've not tried any Badger airbrushes. I've just stuck to these ones and I know they work, they've lasted. So they're the brands that I would recommend, the ones on the table here. When it comes to parts on these brushes, I can give you a guide into what's the cheapest and what's the dearest. So looking at cheapest, you've got your Krios. So a good brand, good on parts, cheaper on parts. Your next brand up would be H&S on parts. That would be going up in the next price bracket. And then the next price bracket up would be your Iwata. You'd go a little bit higher. Not exceptionally high. I mean, some of the dear end brushes, yes, you could pay a little bit more for. But them brushes there in the Iwatas, I've not replaced anything on them. And some of them brushes are really old and they've not been changed or no seals, no nothing. They've all been absolutely spot on. H&S, I've replaced parts. I've replaced some of the seals, the needles, the nozzles, because the nozzles are a real soft brass and they can get worn, so I've replaced on them. The Krios range I've owned for over a year on all these brushes and I've not replaced anything over on a year yet, and they have had some work. The Rich pen's new, so I've not replaced anything on that. So parts wise, Krios cheapest, H&S next, and then your Iwatas can be a little bit dearer. Needle sizes, again, we've got all different sizes in these brushes, and if you're a newbie and you're thinking of a brush and you can see all these different needle sizes, and what instantly goes into people's minds is they all go, I want to do hairlines, I want to paint tiny little things and this and that. All these brushes here will get you hairline lines. It's the person behind the trigger that gets the hairline, not the brush. Yes, the brush on the needle will help because you get the smaller needles which will get down a little bit finer, but it's all in that trigger movement. So me personally, for a beginner, if you're looking for a new brush, I would go for a ECLIPSE on a 0.35mm. It's a great all-round brush, good coverage, it gets the detail down. I would recommend that one in the Iwata range. In the Krios range, I'd go PS270 all day long for detail brush and a good all-round brush, and you get a nice bit on that package. You get a MAC valve as well, so that's a bonus, and it comes in, that comes in cheaper than the ECLIPSE. H&S Evolution Silverline Solo, great brush, 0.2. You've got your adjuster to the back, you've got an air regulator to the brush body there, you've got interchangeable cups, you can change the needle and nozzle setups in the H&S range nice and easy. So you can, if you wanted to change that brush to an infinity, you wanted to get it down even more on the detail, you could buy the 0.15 needle and nozzle and put it straight into that body and turn that into an infinity. Not a problem. So they're three great beginner brushes, I would say, for a beginner. There's a side feed there and there's two top cut airbrushes. The 0.35 on the Iwata, 0.2 on the Krios, and a 0.2 on the Harder and Steenbeck. So them three brushes are good, and they're reasonably priced. You're looking at I think 118 for the Krios. The ECLIPSE on this side feed, they don't do the side feed one anymore, but you can buy the top cut ECLIPSE, which is the same needle and nozzle setup. I think these are about 170. Harder and Steenbeck, I've seen some of these for around 106, 107 on these. So they're all in that sort of over £100 mark. Great brushes, they'll last you, they'll see you through your career. Brilliant brushes, three brands, really good. So that's what I recommend on brands parts, I think we've run through the parts. Your Krios, cheapest, harder than Steenbeck. Next on parts, Iwata, and then a little bit higher for your Iwata. Needle and nozzles, we've gone through that. Top feed versus side feed. Now, it's personal preference, guys. I don't mind spraying with both. As you can see, I own both styles of airbrush. My personal favourite is a top cup, as I started out with all top cup airbrushes, and I prefer a longer body on the airbrush. That's why I really like Krios, because these are long brushes. They've got the nice slope back. They're nice. Same as the H&S, it's quite long. It just feels nice, and I tend to lean the brush, look down it. A top cup or a side cup, I don't mind. Some of the side cup brushes, they will come up shorter. So some of them you can feel a bit hugged over it. They can feel a little bit small, but they work just as well as a top cup. The bonus with a top cup, in my eyes, you get the cap for the top. So if you're moving around fast with your brush, you're not going to get any paint spill out of one with the top cup. You can get the cups for the side cup as well, and the bonus with the side cup on the Iwatas, you can change it to what side you want. So if you're left or right handed, you can move the cup, and you can get caps for these. So I can't really say that. They've both got their benefits between the two. It's what you prefer, guys. I mean, I own both, and they both work absolutely fine. So I can't really give you a direction to go in that, a top feed or a side feed. They both do the same job. It's just that one's on the side of the brush and one's on the top. So that's your personal preference, guys, on that. So they're the brands that we've looked at. We've gone price, brand. They're all, I would recommend every single brush on this table. I really would, and it's not just because I own them. They've all worked well for me in my career. They've all done the job. All these brushes have done automotive work. They've all done portrait work. They've done every bit of paint I can think of that I've chucked through. They've all chucked that paint through it. Some easier than others. Some have been really good workhorses. Bottom feed, Iwata Eclipse, absolute workhorse, outstanding brush. PS2 9 Trigger, superb brush. Iwata Custom Micron, everyone knows about the Micron, superb brush for detail. PS2 70, superb brush again. They're all brilliant brushes, guys, they really are. And if you get your chance to own any of these, I guarantee you'll leave a comment on this video and go, yeah, this guy knows what he's on about. Because I've been in the industry quite a long time, and I've used these brushes, saved up, brought the brush, and I've used them for at least a year to 2 years, probably per brush. So I know the ins and outs of them, I know how they're stripped down, I know what you can put through them, what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, that's my little look into looking at a brush for the first time, and when you're just starting out and you're bombarded like on eBay and Amazon, and you're looking at these brushes and you're thinking, oh, what the hell do I go for? That is a good selection of brands, guys, and they work, and they still work. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something for when you're buying your first brush. And if you need any help, just drop it in the comments. I get straight back to you. If you buy one of these brushes and you get stuck along the way and you want to strip it down and you need a bit of knowledge, or you want to learn how to strip one of these brushes down, just drop me a message and I will gladly do you a video on breaking a brush down of one of these and showing you an in-depth review video. They are on the channel, and I have done maintenance reviews on these. There's ones on that one, which was a recent video, the Eclipse, show you how you can strip and clean that. I've done a full strip down review on a H&S, and done the H&S strip down blindfolded, so that's why I say it's an easy brush. I've got a polishing video on needles, on how to tweak your needles and things like that. So yeah, just give them a look guys, they're all on there. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.